Hey gardeners, Amy here with Garden Up. Today I want to unbox whatever my order from our Conservation District's tree sale. So every year my local Conservation District does this tree sale where they sell tons of different varieties of really cool plants, many of them native, and all of them pretty much are some kind of water-wise or do good things for ecology here in Spokane. So I usually buy something. Most years I do. This year they had elderberry, they had several kinds of raspberries, they had lots of really cool trees. So I placed my order and then I picked up my order and I went to the surplus sale and bought a couple more things. So that's just how it goes most years. So anyway, I've got 15 elderberries here, which is way more than I need in my yard. So I'm going to plant the ones I want, and then I'm going to put the rest in pots because they come bare root. Thing about bare root is you've got to get it in the ground or into soil quickly because they'll dry out and die otherwise, and they already look really sad because it's been a few days since I picked them up. They don't last very long in their bag. So when you pick them up, get them in the ground. So that's what we're going to do. So like I said, these have already been in their bag for several days, so I want to get them into water at the very least. If I don't have time to get them in the ground, at least this will keep them alive. In the bags, they come with like this jelly stuff, and I think this is similar to those Orbeez beads. There might also be some sawdust in there. The point is it's designed to keep the roots moist enough to survive being in a bag for a few days. That stuff will buy you at least a few hours to a couple of days of time before they dry out and die. Don't leave them in their bags for very long. It's a bad habit of mine. I know I buy them and then I get home and I get busy. So for what I'm doing right now is I'm at least getting them into water, into actual water, not just gel, so that if I don't get all of these planted today, they at least won't up and die. There's a lot here. So this is what you'd expect to get. A good solid taproot with a few fibrous roots. I'm going to put more water in this bucket. So I'm not actually sure what I'm going to do with the extra gel that's in these bags. If it's the same stuff, the micro beads, the water beads, those things. The marketing on those things is always claiming that they're safe and environmentally friendly and all that stuff, but that's not true. Whenever scientists actually look at the long-term effects of those things, they always find that when they break down, they turn into several different kinds of toxins. They're not something I want in my garden. So I'm probably going to leave the bag outside long enough for most of the water to evaporate and for the gel to dry out, and then I'll just throw it away. So I picked this spot to plant the raspberries and the josta berries. It should get just enough sun. I hope they should be at least okay. Maybe they won't thrive totally, but this is kind of the only spot I've got at the moment. So to start with, I'm just re-edging and I'm widening the bed. I'm making sure I get all the grass out because you don't want grass mixed with raspberries. That's a pokey mess. And as soon as I get the grass all out, I will get my raspberries planted. The thing about weeding out grass is that there are several different growth types. If you have one with rhizomes for roots, you have to get the root. But that actually makes it easier in my opinion because you just have to sift through the soil. And those big rhizomes are actually way easier to find than some of the smaller root systems of grass. But I have a full video on how to weed grass out of gardens, and I'll put that up here at the top, and I'll also link it in the description below. Do you ever order something and then it takes a while to come in and you forget what you ordered? Yeah, me too. Anyway, not with clients. I'm really good at remembering what I order for clients because, I have paperwork and stuff. For myself, I'm terrible. Anyway, I ordered raspberries, and then when I went to pick up stuff, I saw that they had royalty purple raspberries. And I think they're both the same, but these ones that I ordered don't say royalty purple. But I don't know why I would have bought anything else, unless it was golden or whatever, because I already have amazing raspberry bushes. But the royalty purple is that's new, I want to try that. So I bought these, the surplus sale, when I went to pick up what I ordered. So I might have 6 plants that are the same, and I might have 3 of 2 different varieties, and I'm not sure. Please comment down below. Am I the only one that does this? I can't be the only one that does this. Anyway, I'm going to put one of them over here, and I'm going to put the royalty purple right here. The ones that I know are royalty purple are going to go in the middle. The other ones are going to go on the other side, and then I'm going to water them in. Oh. There's 6 in here. I already ordered 2 bunches. I hope I'm making you all feel a little bit better about yourselves to know that even the professionals do the same stuff that everybody does. So these are going to go all the way over. So inside the bag is a cluster of bare root plants, and each one, it's literally just a stick. But I mean, what do you expect? They were 3 for $5 or something, like really good prices. So here's where the roots begin, and so that's where I'm going to plant it. And it's got a whole bunch of nodes that are starting to bud out a little bit. So put that there, and I want to fill the hole with water so that those roots don't dry up. While there's still water in there, a bit of soil back. And there's lots of ways to plant these kinds of things. This is just one. Pretty much as long as you keep the roots moist and get them in the ground before the roots dry out, you're okay. They'll be fine. These holes I think I made a little bit too deep, so I'm going to have to actually fold the raspberry up while I fill it in. Otherwise, I will be burying the crown and most of the stem. We don't want that. No worries at all about the wood chips mixing in with the hole. The only downside is I'm losing a few of my wood chips. I'll have to top dress the mulch with some more, but I still have a little bit left over from my chip drop last fall. This is a volunteer Virginia creeper that I'm going to have to take out at some point. Otherwise, it's going to crowd out and overcompete the raspberries. But it was here just to climb on the fence, and so I didn't mind it at the time because I didn't have anything else growing here. Priorities change. I have something else here now. All right, these are the ones I bought at the surplus sale that I know are definitely royalty purple raspberries. They were 3 for $22, not 3 for $5 or $6. But some of the trees are literally 3 for $5, and it's an amazing price. The raspberries are all in the ground. I'll now need to dig out a little bit more for the josta berries. One thing about raspberries is that they have creeping roots. Like, having it this close to the lawn is pushing my luck, and I know that. But I'm just going to have to either keep bringing the lawn out. At some point, I'll probably put in some kind of a vertical weed barrier, like those plastic edging. That's not really deep enough for raspberries, but it's better than nothing. But that'll keep them just kind of in this area. And then I'll have to do something about the inside of the bed as well. But I like the idea of them like adding to the fence, so there's more visual structure here, as well as like actually support, as this fence is getting kind of wimpy over the years. But I still want it here. It's around my huckleberry bed. I don't want anything getting in there, so no kids, no dogs, like, stay out. But this gives a nice visual barrier as well as the physical one, and eventually it'll grow in and be a physical barrier as well. So I like the idea of having something solid here. One more thing about this, I'm leaving the soil kind of dipped. And the reason I'm doing that is to run water down into the roots where the roots of the raspberries are, so that the roots get more water than like the surrounding dirt. That'll help it grow and get established a little bit better versus smoothing out the soil and having all of the soil absorb the water from this irrigation. This will put the water right where it's actually needed. So I'm going to put the Josta berries here. Now, Josta berries get anywhere from 3 to 6 feet tall and wide. So they might come out as far as this from the fence and inside the fence. But I'm still going to go ahead and plant them right next to the fence because, again, it'll help to reinforce the fence and also make a solid visual barrier as well as this flimsy physical one. So let's get the Josta berries. Here we are. I got a plan long term here. Again, 6 feet wide. I don't want it to block the gate, which starts right here. So the first one has to be here, and I really only have room for one. Wow. But they can be pruned, so I'll put it a little closer. We'll just have to keep it pruned back from the gate. So there's really only room for 2 of them here. And I think what I'm going to do with the third one, what I think I'm actually going to do is remove my spirea that's over there. It came with the house. I didn't plant it. I like spireas, but they're not native, and they're just not my favorite thing. And it gets so big. It takes up a lot of, real estate for no real reason aside from that it's pretty. I want more perennial edibles in my garden. So I think I'm going to take out my spirea and put the other Josta berry there. So for right now, I'll have to put it in a pot and just keep it alive, and then I'll move it over there. The other option is I heel it in this spot in the middle and move it later, but I know myself, I'm not going to do that. It's going to end up here forever, so not going to do that. Let's just get these 2 in the ground and the third one in the pot. So here's our Josta berries. Here's what we've got for Josta berries. A few adventitious roots here, but the root system is down here. So I'm going to put it in the ground this deep. So this has a new shoot coming off of this root, which is really interesting. But it's going to go in this deep. Now again, I'm leaving bowls. I'm leaving like the soil is shaped as a bowl or a boat. So it keeps the water right where it needs to be. All right, grabbing another pot. It is not a great idea to put regular garden soil in a pot because it gets too compacted and it doesn't hold water very well. This is the option I have at the moment. I'm hoping to get this in the ground within the next few weeks. So crossing my fingers, this should be fine for a short amount of time. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'm going to grab some wood chips. Wood chips will help to loosen it a bit, so it won't get quite so compacted. Top it with soil, and then the soil will work down to behind the chips. That'll do it. Again, hopefully that's just for a few days to a couple weeks. I gotta put a tag on. Josta berries, you're gonna hang a tag. These paper tags don't last very long before they, fall off. But it's better to have one than not. So, I always forget what I planted where. So I hang the tags nearby or on the plants so that I at least remember for a few months until the tags fall off. So I'm going to plant a couple of my elderberries back in this corner. This is the far back corner of my property, right next to my beehive, which is not currently occupied by bees. But if I ever do want to keep bees again, I need a 6-foot-high barrier on each corner of my yard. That vinyl fence works, but this one is just a little short and it's not actually solid, which is why I intentionally grew Virginia creeper around here, because that would be solid when the bees were flying and that would meet the code, basically. If I put the elderberries here, it's gonna, get kind of tangled up with the Virginia creeper, but there's nothing I'm gonna be able to do to stop that, so I'm just gonna deal. It's fine. This is the back corner of my property. I don't really care as much what it looks like. I just really want more elderberries. So I'm just gonna cut this all back so I have space to work and I can kind of control the growth a little bit for now. I mean, one day I might try to remove them, but for right now, I'm fine with it. So here we go. A lot of people hate Virginia creeper. They think it's invasive. It's not invasive by definition. The word invasive means not native. And while Virginia creeper is technically not native to this side of the United States, it is native to the U.S. So it's kind of a stretch to call it invasive. The word that people are looking for is aggressive. It is an aggressive grower, and it spreads a lot by both seed and just the vines themselves. The vines can root and make a new plant that way, if the vines ever touch the ground, which is what's happening right here. Some of them got buried by my wood chips, and they're starting to root and start new plants, which is why I want to get this kind of under control right now. But they're not invasive by definition. That's all I'm saying there. But there's a lot of fun things you can do with Virginia creeper, and it's a very useful plant. Just aside from its use in the garden of making an excellent visual barrier, it's a fast-growing vine. It can do damage on masonry, so I don't recommend planting it on a brick wall or anything. But then its fall color is just stunning. And if you're a crafty sort of person, my mom used to make these really fun baskets out of these vines. She absolutely loved doing that. Just every time she would cut back her Virginia creeper, she'd have this massive pile of vines, and she would make baskets. And they were really cool and funky. So if you're crafty like that, this is a great source of weaving material. Here's the root. It's a woody root. It's long. It goes deep. If you do want to get rid of this plant, you got to dig the root out. It will regrow at just about any point along that root. So anything that you miss, any piece of root that you miss in the ground will regrow a new shoot. But at least you'll know where to dig to get what you miss. That's how weed eradication works, really. Here's another fun weed. This is called catchweed bedstraw. It's called catchweed because it sticks. Sticks to almost anything it touches. And the seeds stick too. It has these little hairs. I think these hairs are called trichomes, but I'm not positive on that right now. Basically just like burrs. They stick to everything, like passing animals and humans and whatever, so that the mammals can carry the seeds around. That's pretty good. That's about all I need. Just enough space to plant a couple of the elderberries. There's one more thing about this corner that I have to keep in mind, and that is my stinging nettle is planted back here. I planted this on purpose, but before you think I'm too crazy, watch my nettle video and I explain why in there. This is an extremely nutritious plant. It's good to eat, and I mean, it's got a lot of other benefits as well. It's a little bit dangerous if you touch it because it'll make you break out in a rash, but the nutritional benefits, like right now, I could harvest some of this and put it in a stir fry. It's very good. Also very high in protein and a lot of other good stuff. So I do grow this on purpose, but the location back here is not ideal for it. It prefers a lot more water, and I literally never water back here. I put this soaker hose in specifically for that plant, and so I could get some other stuff started back here, but nothing ever took. I always tried seeds, and seeds don't grow in wood chips, so that's why I'm going to plant something that actually has a root and go down into the ground. That's my plan. Anyway, so I'm not going to be planting right in this corner because the nettles are already here, but I'm going to plant right next to it, and I'm going to have room for two. Now, elderberries prefer full sun to part shade, and they prefer some water, but they don't need much. They are native to our area, so they don't need a lot of supplemental water once they're established. This is part sun at best. It gets morning sun, and then it's pretty well shaded the rest of the day. So it's not ideal for an elderberry, but I think they'll do okay here anyway. They'll be fine because it gets the morning sun, and I'm not really in it for the berries. I just want something here in this corner, and I think the elderberries will fit really well. They can get quite large, but you can also prune them. So a little bit of pruning each year will keep them fitting in this corner quite nicely, I think. check out what I just found. This is a seedling of a horse chestnut, which I definitely do not want back here. The nut's already fallen off, but it's a nice root system on this. Might just throw it in a pot and keep it. Maybe sell it to a client and give it to a client. But I don't want it in my corner. I would not have varied this if I'd have known it was here. Holy cow, this is beautiful. That red. I want to use that somewhere. Well, for right now, I just got to get it out of the way because this is the hole I want to plant the elderberry in. That hole's done. So I know the soaker hose is working, as you can see it dripping all along until the end. These are well watered in. A little bit of a finishing touch, just to make the area sweet. Done. So if you're putting anything in a pot, the worst thing you can do is use straight dirt and soil out of your garden, because this is not designed for the small confines of a pot. It gets compressed, it doesn't hold water well in that kind of a situation, and it doesn't drain right. But I don't want to spend several $100s on potting soil to fill pots this size. So what I'm going to do to fluff it up just a little bit, some wood chips. Now, the wood chips should fluff up the soil just enough to keep it from compressing. They'll also help the soil hold some moisture. They're not going to hurt anything. They're going to decompose and take a little bit of nitrogen, add a little bit of nitrogen back. It'll all work out in the end. And I'm hoping to not have these in pots very long. The thing is, I buy elderberries all the time for my clients, and you can never find them when you want them. So that's one of the reasons I bought so many, is so that I could resell them whenever I needed one. I would have one on hand and I could just resell it. So I don't anticipate having these even through the end of this year. I might have a couple left over, but that'll be about it. So these shouldn't be in the pots very long. At least that's my hope. So we're going to mix a little soil with a little bit of wood chips and fill the pots and then water them in. And I'm just using this space that, Lily has dug a pit in. The soil's nice here. So thanks for watching this video, everybody. I hope it was valuable and you picked up some interesting tips. Remember to let me know if you liked it by hitting the like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe so you get more gardening content in your video feed every week. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you in the garden.